This is Franchise Live with Ray and Terry. If you are new to this format, thank you. We welcome you. If you're returning, you've worked with one of us in the past, maybe you're working with us right now. Hey, thanks for coming back. We really appreciate that. We are both franchise consultants. Ray, tell everybody, what does a franchise consultant do for those folks who may be joining us that don't know exactly what we do?
Certainly will tell everybody. Hi, everyone. And sorry if I'm a little distracted. There's so many people coming on, so I'm trying to let everybody in.
You want me to roll? You want me to roll for a few minutes?
No, I got this one. A good franchise consultant, what a good one does is help you along your journey. People often come to us and they are at the point where they're where they are. They have an idea where they want to go. Our job is to help them articulate that, where they want to go, to help build their strategy. And then, using the analogy, you are where you are, you're looking to go where you want to go. We need to find that vehicle, that business that can get you from where you are to where you want to be. And that vehicle is going through the informed decision process and getting the opportunity to learn and make a good decision for yourself. So that's what a good one does.
That's what a good one does. Thanks for that description, Ray. We have a learning community that has a ton of resources on it. The URL is hireyourbestboss.com. 4 words, hireyourbestboss.com. And we have probably 50 videos. I haven't stopped to count them, Ray, but there are 50 videos there where we've taken one person's question about franchising out of our mythical mailbag. And Ray gives his answer to the question, I give my answer to the question, and you get 2 different viewpoints to the same question. If you have a question that's not on hireyourbestboss.com, please feel free to submit it to us, and we'll do a video exclusively for you. You can be our selection from the mailbag that week.
Our best mailbags, Terry, are when people come to us with their questions and we get a chance to answer them. And honestly, if you're thinking it, other people are thinking it as well. So it's good if you ask, and we won't call you out unless you allow us to.
That's true. And down below in the direct message, if you'd like to schedule an appointment with us, we call them Q&A, question and answer calls. Please feel free to do that. If you go to hireyourbestboss.com, we also have opt-in boxes there where you can schedule question and answer calls. So if you have individual questions that you don't hear answers to today, you have a particular situation that you want to talk about, you want specific questions answered, hey, just make an appointment with us in addition to the resources that are there on the website. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk disruption, franchises we saw in Nashville that disrupt the industry right now. And so why were we in Nashville, Ray? Let's put that into context for the people that are on the call with us. What was Nashville about?
Nashville is something we do as part of our franchise business, our powered by franchise business, where we meet with both the very tried and true franchises that we've worked with and have a strong history with. We also do Shark Tank with some of the up-and-comers, the industry disruptors. And both are important. It's important to talk to those people who've been around for a nice long time, because reality is that business is a snapshot. Just because it was good 5 years, 15 years, 30 years ago doesn't mean it's necessarily still good. We have to look at it from where it is. The opportunity is not always the same. When you get in, an opportunity matters. And the newer companies, I mean, there's always companies that are coming on. Everyone's trying to create a better mousetrap. People are trying to have a disruptive business that's going to change the industry. And always leads me to that first question we have, Tara, which is disruption good?
It's a great question. I think my answer to that, Ray, is maybe. I think I'm a definite maybe on that. I think disruption can be very good and can yield a lot of opportunities in business. And then I think if you're early in a disruptive model, that can bring its own set of problems. What do you think?
Well, actually agree with you, Terry. I think it's all about timing.
Yep.
I talk to my folks a lot about timing and business, and it's a little bit like surfing. You want to be at the right time of the wave. You don't want to be too early, but you also don't want to miss the wave as well. So it's important to figure out the timing and also to figure out where you are in the whole process. And emerging businesses, disruptive businesses are not for everyone. And it doesn't mean you're a strong owner or not a strong potential owner. It's just different. And you have to figure it out for yourself and evaluate it for yourself. So it can be great. It reminds me of that thing, it's if you were building horse carriages and cars were coming in and disrupting, you got to figure out which side of the coin you are at that point, right? So either way, it's important to know what is coming, what are the disruptions, and how it may or may not affect you and your business and life.
Yeah, if your business is shoeing up horses and suddenly there's, a black Model T on the street, that's a good analogy for disruption. And we're not saying, jump into disruptive businesses, but we get asked that question all the time in our consulting practices. And so what we do when we meet you is we work to get a written strategy in place, a model that we can use to compare against our companies in our portfolio. And we do this type of training twice a year. We go in January and we go in July every year to get retrained, to learn new things, to sharpen up our skills and to be with our franchise companies. And so that's what Nashville was about. That's what we did. We were with well over 100 franchise companies there, and we were there for 5 days. So it starts when you get to the airport, when you get out of the Uber, when you get into the lobby, when you're in the elevators, when you're at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, till you get back in the Uber and go back to the airport and finally get home and collapse. It's like a 5-day episode of Shark Tank. So Ray, was there something that you saw in terms of business models that is disrupting the franchise industry that we can start with?
Yes, there was. There was a few things that I saw that were very disruptive. There was companies, there's industries, and there's even business model. I'll go with the business model first. What I saw is very disruptive. For years and years, there has been a investor model, more of a managed services, but it's always been on a very high end, very high investment level. In response to the marketplace demanding that, we like that model, but need to make it a little more affordable. I want to be part of it, but I have to be able to invest into it. In the last several years, and even more so, I think through the pandemic, I have seen where there's a model growing, specifically in the service sector, which are managed services. So it's not only getting the business model from the franchise, but it's also having them do the hiring and managing the business, and you acting much less time on your part, you managing the KPIs. Some of them say it's as little as 2 to 3 hours a month. Others a little more, but still very low, and very much of a CEO type model, investor type model. The market's been asking for it. I'm starting to see several come in. They don't have a lot of history at this point. It's not brand new anymore, but it's pretty close. So if you're looking for 20 years of experience, you're not going to find it with that type of model at this point, unless you go to that upper end investment, that millions and millions investment that we're talking about. So I'm seeing more in that field, and that I thought was very interesting on the model sense.
Certainly disruptive. We've seen this from a number of franchisors. We're seeing it appear more and more and more. And to put the category in context, when we jump on a Q&A call with you, when we start working with you to develop a written strategy, we're going to talk to you about how do you want to manage the business. There's a video on hireyourbestboss.com called The 3 Layers of Possibility. The first layer is an owner-operator model. This is where you're working in the business. You're trading time for money. You can count on 40 plus hours a week in that model. The second layer of possibility is you're working as an executive because you have a manager that's working in the business while you're the executive working on the business. You can ballpark 20 or 30 hours a week for that role. You can share it with a business partner. You can share it with a spouse. But you have a manage the manager model that allows you to possibly keep your job or get some of your life back. And then the third layer of possibility is an investor model. This is where you have executives running the business and managers working in it. And so your role in that business obviously is to capitalize it and provide oversight on it because you have a full management team or a general manager run business that's building the business for you. So those are the 3 layers of possibility that we work with. And that managed services contract happens today at the investor type level. So jump on a call with us, understand what the financials are around those 3 layers of possibility, what the time requirements that you have are to run the business and help grow the business. And we'll help you sort all that out. That's what we do. So Ray, we said we were going to talk specific businesses. Okay. So do you have a category and then a business within a category that you saw in Nashville that you said, wow, this is disruption?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to say one thing, though, because I see the people who've been coming in and I've noticed, I know some of these people and some of them are very successful business owners. So welcome, everyone. It's good to see you and see your names here. One of the things you said, and I love it because I'd rather talk to people about the amount of hours and really think about it, but it's very individualistic. It's really depends upon you and also how good the system is, how good the franchise system is. So these are parameters, these are likely, but there are some executive businesses where you will spend less time if you're better at it. You'll spend less time if they have a tighter system. So that's important to realize. We'll give you the basics, but part of the informed decision is to really break it down to see how much time it'll take you. Better to kind of think it's going to be more, but really understand and peel the onion back a little bit to totally understand. So just wanted to throw that out there for us to do it, which is why we say, please give us a call so we can tailor it to you. That's
so your first disruption company, what management model of the 3 possibilities does it use?
Actually, the first one, it's in the health and wellness sector, which, by the way, there's a lot of disruption going on in health and wellness or health wellness. You can even say beauty. There's a lot of disruption going on. The first one that I'm going to tell you about is actually in the investor model. And the thing that kind of grabbed my attention was a program they have to address, it's medical, it's chiropractic. It is to address how you get the employees, how to recruit and retain and keep interested, right? Like it's you got to recruit somebody, you got to recruit your key employees, you got to retain your key employees, especially in an investor business. The third thing is you got to keep them on the game. You got to keep them interested so they want to grow the business. And the program that caught my attention was called Leo. And I know you know what Leo is, but I didn't. And it's Leo is learn, earn, and out, potentially out.
So this is a business strategy for finding a chiropractor. Does the franchisor help you find chiropractors? Do they have a system for that?
They actually do. They actually say they have chiropractors who are knocking down their doors. So
you go into business with a chiropractor, and the Leo model is to what? Eventually sell that practice to the chiropractor?
That's what the Leo model, sell it either full or part. It's almost like flipping, Terry, what it reminds me of.
Like flipping houses in residential real estate.
it reminds me, there's an aspect to it that is like that, and then people just keep doing it again and again and again is what their system has been about.
Yeah, this validated with me. This resonated with me in Nashville because I started in chiropractic in the mid 80s. I couldn't breathe. I went to a kinesiologist chiropractor and it diagnosed me with a gluten intolerance and then celiac. And I had no idea. I'd never heard of those terms. Today, they're in the mainstream. But I went on to continue with chiropractic over the years and over the decades. And one thing I've seen in that industry is chiropractors are great healers. You know, they're really good. They're the modern day doctor, right? But they're not great business minds, most of them. There are some stunning business minds in that industry. We met one of them, Dr. Chris. Brought his business skills to that industry. But by and large, these are people who are healers, chiropractors. They manipulate the spine, but boy, could they use some business help. So that's what this is, a business model disruption, right, Ray?
Business model disruption. I'm just going to give you some of the notes I took. They had minimal staffing, one or two chiropractors, starting with one front desk person. This isn't just brand new. They have 140 plus locations.
How many?
140. More.
So this is not a new idea. It's not even a new franchise. To get to 140, they've been around a while.
Been around a while, and they're growing their footprint. They want to go nationwide. Is what they're doing. Is what I see there. They also are more than just chiropractic. They have 7 revenue streams. A couple of them jumped out at me. Laser therapy jumped out at me. Sleep therapy. Yeah, you ever talk to somebody who needs
at a chiropractor's office?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting what's going on.
Huge demand for sleep disorders.
Yep, they have a subscription for a wellness club, like not just treating something that's already happened, but preventative. Which
does this model have rehab in it?
It does. It does have rehab. Lots of the active, the functional rehab. So it's that's where a lot of people get their foot in the door. And then they start using all the different other services. So very interesting, something to really keep an eye on.
So if you're an investor and you don't have a lot of time, but you do have capital, you want to partner with a chiropractor and then have a front office person run this business, you can build it with the intent of selling it right back to that chiropractor. And the chiropractor benefits immensely because they have a business person who's built the practice for them. Can you do this more than once, Ray? I mean, can you do this like 10 or 12 times? Can you have 10 or 12 chiropractors out there?
Yes, you can. We've we heard from people who said that's exactly their business model, what they've been doing. And the idea behind it is the win-win-win. And the chiropractor is buying you out. They don't have to. It's just part of the program. The reality is it's a really good win, and sometimes you sell part of it and you keep part of it. So there's a lot of different aspects to it. But yes, the people who get involved have been. The idea is that they're growing it, and that's that organic growth and flipping, as you had talked about with me earlier. There's a big aspect to that, just to keep kind of growing, and increasing their footprint.
Yeah, and we talked about in an elevator one afternoon, the health and wellness category is really growing significantly. Many of these businesses, were started many years ago and have, grown significantly and are now starting to franchise and go nationwide. But that whole category of health and wellness is really coming to the forefront. You flagged another franchise in that industry that you were really impressed with.
I did. And part of the reason I was is because I think as a society, we're bombarded by this anti-aging, right? Like we see this, like how to turn back the clock, look younger, feel better. We all the different ways. I want our viewers to stay with us because they're all Googling Fountain of Youth franchise right now. That's right. Ponce de Leon, the starter.
Was he the founder?
Yeah, it's been a while. They have feel your best services. They have look your best, and it's all the way from testosterone therapy, hormone replacement, vitamin injections. I mean peptide therapies. They even have that weight loss.
Yeah, the semi-glutide therapies,
That's
the
it. I'm glad-
like Wegovy and Ozempic, I think.
Good for you to say. I can never say it. But they also run the dermal fillers, the Botox, hydrofil. They do a lot of different things. And the idea is, feel good, look good. People really tend to clients, the people who use these services, don't just use one.
For people that go out later in the evening and imbibe a little bit, do they have the IV therapy for the next morning that kind of helps you get through that hangover?
Not that we're recommending that, but yes, they do.
Okay. All right. So they have, I counted 17 or 18 different Fountain of Youth services in this franchise.
Yes. There's a lot there. Again, it seems to be speaking to society in general, and it's that whole health and wellness, whether you're working out the field, it's multiple different layers. This one did grab my attention, that anti-aging angle really seems to be one that could catch fire. We'll see. It's certainly of interest to learn about.
We have a very long list of health and wellness franchises in our portfolio. So we flagged a couple today. If you want to talk a longer list, we've got a lot to talk about. Just schedule a Q&A call with us. Ray, I had an industry that I got to the lobby one day. I was headed to lunch and I went, wow, this industry has really flipped over the years. It's the floor coatings industry, right? Floors have coatings on them, right? There are companies that do that. They're blue collar gold, in my estimation. There's nothing sexy about floor coverings unless you spell sexy, M-O-N-E-Y, right?
Right.
Yeah, we've got a coatings franchise that has a product disruption. Okay. Epoxy is the basic form of coating, and there are many different layers of possibilities in this industry, but this particular franchise company has created a new goop. That's what we call it on our side. I'm sure they have a technical name for it, but they got new goop. Okay. Their goop creates a much thicker service. So it has a longer shelf life to it, a longer product life, but that's not the most stunning aspect of the new goop. The new goop dries 3 to 4 times faster than what's in the marketplace today. Why is this disruption? Well, if you're out there running a floor coatings business right now, and your competitor can do 3 or 4 jobs a day because the goop dries faster, and it takes your goop a whole day to dry, you are at a significant disadvantage in your business model. And this franchise company has a significant market advantage because of product disruption. Did you see the same thing in that franchise I did, Ray?
I did. It's very, as you said, a blue collar industry, but it's one of those industries that is ripe for disruption, right? There's a lot of people doing it one way, but if you can have a product or a service, if you can do something different, it can really change the playing field for you. And their goop seems to be different. It gives you some competitive advantages, the drying faster. They think it's much better.
Another advantage is it self-levels. When you pour it, it self-levels, which is another product breakthrough. And if you're out there, you're listening, and your background, your career has been white collar businesses, there's a real strategic advantage to bringing white collar skill sets to a blue collar business where you're partnering with the franchise company and they have systems, and new goop.
Yeah. So it's very important. Terry, you had something else in this incredible industry that caught your eye.
I really did. Do you have a garage, Ray?
I do.
I've had a garage for many years. Garages are not new. I don't know if cavemen had garages. I don't know when the first garage was built, but I know that in my neighborhood, a lot of people trick out their garage, particularly on the floor. They want a coating there. They can pick a specific color. There's nothing new about tricking out garage floors or installing storage and cabinetry in your garage. You know, I see it every night when I walk, but people tell me all the time when I talk to them in a Q&A call, am I going to be able to find labor? Am I going to be able to find people to work in my business? And particularly in blue collar franchises, finding good blue collar salespeople is a concern that people have. It's a fear. It's like, how am I going to get a blue collar sales guy to do this? So this particular franchise has been around for a long time. They're very good at what they do. They found an artificial intelligence product to help train their salespeople. We all hear about chatbot, CPG chatbot, open AI, artificial intelligence, AI has stolen the headlines over the last 6 months or so. So this company used to use a printed paper product brochure. They would go into the garage, they would sit down with the lead, the customer, the prospect, and present it. And they had a really nice closing ratio, and people would buy off of that. They went to a tablet presentation, and when they go in now, they record the sales presentation to and with the lead, the prospect. And then when the presentation's over, they upload it to a database, and there are 150 live sales presentations in their database right now. So this is new. It's getting started. But then the franchisee sits down with their salesperson and they download the artificial intelligence recommendation for improving that salesperson's sales presentation. And Ray, the results have skyrocketed the closing ratio. So if you can find one salesperson and you can invest your time with the AI training capacity that this franchisor has developed, wow, this is a disruption that could be just epic. I was so impressed with that.
Gives them a
Big
first
time disruption.
Yeah, it gives them a first mover advantage, Terry.
Really a first mover advantage.
Excellent.
Yeah. So if you're out there, you're thinking, you know, I got to have a white collar business. Yeah, we've got plenty of those. We have great ones. But if you can apply your white collar career skills to a blue collar business, I call it blue collar gold.
Blue collar gold. Blue collar gold. Terry, I want to switch to an industry that we have not had a big disruptor in a while. The food and beverage industry.
F&B, food and beverage. You know my feelings about this. If you've watched some of the videos on Hire Your Best Boss, you know my feelings about food and beverage. It's a tough first business. The reason it's a tough first business is there are a lot of moving parts. Ray, I haven't had anybody call me in the last 18 months that said, Terry, I want a business with intense competition. I want a business with low profit margin. I want a business with high employee turnover. I want a business that I can live in 18, 19 hours a day, 6.5 days a week. Have you had any of those calls?
Have not had one of those, but I have had people say, hey, I want to get a food or beverage business, which is
I talk to people all the time that want a business like that.
That's the disconnect. Right
That's the disconnect. I particularly like the beverage portion of that business. Okay. And there are two universal demand products that I like there. One is coffee, right? Americans drink coffee, and coffee is easy to make. Look at Starbucks and look at all the independent coffee cafes that are right next to Starbucks, and they're all still open, right? Another that I like is ice cream. Do you like ice cream, Ray?
Love ice cream.
Do you like milkshakes?
Love milkshakes.
Do you know anybody that doesn't like milkshakes?
I don't.
I don't either, right? It's universal demand, right? Everybody likes milkshakes, ice cream. Now you could be lactose intolerant or you could have a problem, but the franchisor has recipes for that. Here's what I like about this milkshake franchise. It takes one ice cream to build 30 different flavors. So a problem that's with most food and beverage businesses is you have multiple products, right? If you have an ice cream business, you have a walk-in cooler, you may have 30 different flavors of ice cream in there. Now you have SKUs, now you have inventory ordering, now you have use by dates, you have product codes, okay? This is not a simple business. This business uses one ice cream, distributed by Cisco. If you've ever been around the food and beverage industry, Cisco, one of the big names, they're a big food distributor with 73 distribution locations coast to coast in the US. This franchise sells milkshakes, right? And they're good, okay? And they use one ice cream. Do you think you can train your staff to use one ice cream to make milkshakes?
Yeah, you think you'd be able to. This is a operational disruptor is also what I see, because this reminds me, when I heard them speaking, it reminds me of that movie about McDonald's with Michael Keaton. You remember that movie?
I do remember, one of my favorite movies.
And he's standing in front of the McDonald's brothers, and he was there to sell milkshake machines, actually. And and as he eat, I'm sure, as he was watching and looking at what they did something different. They had operational efficiencies. They were different than what was going on, previously. And this business seems to have share some of those same efficiencies. Plus, in the market, they've been around. They're not a new business, Terry. How long have they been around? They just started back when?
Well, Grandma and Grandpa came to the United States in 1914 from Greece. Okay, they landed at Ellis Island. They became immigrants to the United States. They made their way to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and they started doing what they knew, which was making chocolate and selling it on a street corner in Pittsburgh in 1914. We can tell you the whole story when we get on a call, but fast forward to today, 4 generations later, their grandchildren are running highly educated. They've taken the American dream to an extreme. These are sharp business people who have figured out a product breakthrough and an operational efficiency in the milkshake business. If you'd like an F&B business, gotta see this one. And when we go through our strategy creation, when we develop a model for you, if F&B isn't for you, got a couple hundred other franchises that we can talk about, right? So, Ray, you flagged another franchise company in a less than sexy industry that you really think is just disrupting this entire space, right?
Yeah, there's another one. We've been watching it grow as it's gone on, and they've been refining and growing. It's in the very, very popular space. I mean, how would you like to be in a business where there's already currently over 20,000 competitors in the United States?
20,000 competitors, and you're going to try and put me in this industry?
Most of them have been
around. You better have a disruptor.
Yeah, and most of them have been around over 15 years. So I find it interesting. The disruptors is how they do it, and the machinery, and going in, building the better mousetrap, and then the customer service delivery, which is different. So
you're saying there's a technology advantage.
There's a state-of-the-art equipment, technology advantages, but there's also an operational system. They've changed around how it works. I'd even argue that they've designed it in such a way.
All right, tell our viewers what we're talking about. What's the industry?
The industry is laundromats. Laundromats, that sexy industry.
Those zombie mats that I went to in college to clean my clothes.
The very same, probably the very same.
Probably.
It's very interesting what they're doing, and how they're doing it. It is making it a much friendlier place, much more secure place to go. I bet you weren't on the internet when you were in college doing.
Do they have Wi-Fi?
They have Wi-Fi.
Yeah, we didn't have Wi-Fi when I went to college.
You don't have to pay with coins. You can, but you don't have to. There's a lot of different aspects.
I can swipe my debit card.
You can swipe your debit card. You can use your.
Do the machines work? Do the washers and dryers actually work?
they're supposed to give you a competitive advantage. Again, you do the homework on all of these things, but they give you a competitive advantage over a lot of what's out there. They sense your clothes and how dry they are, how much water to use, and to try to use less water, try to lower your cost and to make it more efficient. They have
do they have a play area for kids? If you need to take your kids, you don't want to get a sitter to go do your laundry.
They build that into those. I tell you what I like. I like it's a very simple labor model. You can also add additional services. What do they call that?
How many employees?
I think you're looking at employees from, it looks like 3 to 4 part-time employees and a fluff and fold operation. Terry, you're probably familiar with that fluff and fold type of operation.
I'm very familiar. My very first entry into franchising in 2004 was for a dry cleaning pickup and delivery service. And if you're out there and you're listening to this, you don't know what fluff and fold is. This is where you take your dirty clothes in, you drop them on the counter. Okay. The employees take them out, they wash them, they dry them, they fold them. You come back in and pick it up. And if the business has a delivery service, which this franchisor is building out across the nation, then they can come to your home, they can pick up your dirty laundry, your dry cleaning, they can take it back, process it, clean it, and bring it back to you fluffed and folded. That's what a fluff and fold service is. And it can make up a significant portion of the gross revenues of that business.
Certainly has that potential. So 24/7 security monitoring, the different lighting. It doesn't have to be your dad's laundromat anymore. So it's interesting. They're disrupting the industry. There's been some serious players investing into that business, some of the PE crowd. So
all right. So today we've given you 2 owner-operator disruption businesses. We've given you 2 executive manage the manager disruption businesses. We've given you 2 disruptive investor businesses. So if you'd like to hop on a call with us and talk disruption, if you'd like to hop on a call and talk manage the manager, if you'd like to hop on a call, we'd like to hop on a call with you. We'd like to meet you. We'd like to explain to you how we do what we do, and the fact that there is no cost to you in what we do. We are compensated like executive recruiters or commercial real estate brokers in the seller pays model. So we are not salespeople. We are truly consultants with a service that is free to you without obligation. So visit the direct messaging below. Visit hireyourbestboss.com. You'll find the 3 known costs to investing in a franchise business there. You'll find a video on the 4 unknown costs of investing in a franchise business. The franchise roadmap is there. That's a series of 4 segments and I think 28 videos that will walk you through step by step by step. There's a lot there. Ray, I want to take this minute to say thank you. We've got a lot of people that have joined us today. We are about 40 minutes or so. It's a huge chunk of time for people to invest with. And I'm just so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for our home team, our other consultants around the country that we fellowshiped with in Nashville, and everybody that's joined us today. You want to say goodbye and wrap it up?
Absolutely. One thing I'd like to invite everyone. I noticed several people are already part of the educational community, the Hire Your Best Boss educational community. We'd love to invite any of you who are not part of it to please join. Not only do you get all those resources, I think you'll learn a lot. So will we. And I would love for you to join with us and become part and enjoy these types of opportunities. Some of the Shark Tanks will bring you in. We've got several people who have been asking to be on a live show when we're answering questions. We'd love to invite you to that as well. So what
would that be, Ray? Would that be like a live Q&A? We're just you and me on the screen, and then people get to ask their questions of us? And
absolutely.
Yeah, that would be fun. If anybody out there wants to do that, we're open to that idea. Just let us know.
We're starting to get some reaction on that, so I think that's something we would add. So again, thank you, Terry. Thanks everyone who joined us. And if you want more information, you have any questions, I've answered several of your questions in the chat box. If anyone wants to follow up directly with us, please do so. And again, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.